Hi guys, Caroline here. This race is from this afternoon, air at 15:50. Now this is quite a long video, 9 minutes, and it's going to be a bit of a painful one to watch as this was a heavily losing trade. So I ended up losing £4.85 on this. So I'm trading the favourite, which is the same as I've done on all the other races so far. And I've come in just after 10 minutes before the start of the race. Now the horse in question has already been climbing for a while, which usually is a good sign because usually that means it's kind of the top of its price point, top of its range, and you know, if you can sort of catch the back bet at a high price, you've got a good chance of laying it lower down. But in this case that didn't happen. The horse just sort of continued to climb. So for most of this video there's not going to be a huge amount to say other than just watching how it all goes horribly wrong. But there are some lessons I need to try and learn from this. So to start with, the odds starting around 3.65 here. So the higher the odds are, the more money per tick there is, both in profit if it goes the right way and in losses if it goes the wrong way. So I think one thing to note going forwards is that at higher odds I shouldn't be exposing myself quite so much. You can see what I'm doing here. I've actually lined up 3 back bets even though I've already got 2 unmatched lay bets in the market already. So I'm exposing myself to more and more risk as I go on, and at these odds that's going to stack up quite quickly, especially if those lay bets don't get matched, which is what happens here. The price just keeps drifting upwards. So you know, it's one thing to place more trades at lower odds where the risk is lower, but here it certainly was a bad idea. So that's the 4th one match there. So I've now got £40 exposed in that market. And of course if I go in at 4.0, which is the other one I've got there, it's at the incremental price point, which means again it's worth more. So not much is happening at this point. There's not a huge amount of liquidity coming in either way. Now the other horses are no threat to this one in terms of odds, so it does still look like the clear standout favourite, which is why I believed it was going to drop again, but it just didn't happen. And now my final back bet at 4.0 has been taken, which means I've now got 5 open bets, none of which have been matched on the lay side, so that's £50 exposed in the market. I'm already in a losing position of £3.41, which is obviously not good. So looking back on this now in hindsight, I shouldn't have placed so many bets. I was kind of riding the price up, but what I should have done is waited before placing more back bets and not just blindly put so many on, just hoping it was going to come back, especially when the odds are higher up here. One thing that I'm starting to learn is that if all of the horses have got high odds, then it looks like there's no sort of real confidence in the market. You know, there's no clear favourite. Nobody really knows what to back, and so the movement is less predictable. So I should probably exercise more caution if I'm trading horses at higher odds. So the price starts to come down here, So I'm getting hopeful, but it hovers around 4.0, which is that incremental price point, and doesn't break through it. And then it starts to drift back up again. So now we're coming up to the 5-minute mark. I now have £50 exposed in the market with not a single one of my lay bets matched, and now just 5 minutes to go. So whilst that's plenty of time, the fact that the horse hasn't moved down at all is really getting worrying. But if I was to cash out at this point, I lose £4.52. And I end up losing more than that anyway, but it's still very risky. So finally the price breaks through the 4.0 incremental price point and starts to come down. I get a couple of my bets matched. Now if I traded out at this point, that would have been good. Now I think in hindsight that's what I should have done, but of course it's easy to say that in hindsight. I was thinking, oh, is this the the steam I'm looking for? So if you notice there, I actually put in a stop loss. So I was getting a bit nervous. I think what I should have done is put that stop loss much lower down and be prepared to take a loss. So at this point, I could have traded out for less than £1 loss, and instead I kept it in there, and it did actually end up hitting that stop loss, as you'll see in a few minutes. So what I'm starting to do now is I'm getting a little bit panicky. There's a few minutes left, so I'm moving my lay bets up, hoping they're going to get matched, even if I'll take less profit. But of course the price is drifting up again, going further and further against me. Now less than 3 minutes to go before the start of the race. It's not looking good. If you have a look on the chart, there was only one steam. It wasn't enough, and now we're just drifting on again. And if you have a look at the other horses, second and third ones have been steaming a bit, particularly the second horse, which is probably why this one isn't steaming, and it's just been continuing to drift. So again, I'm trying to move my bets up. I'm realizing that I've only got 2 minutes left, so I'm kind of getting a bit panicky here. I think really the main lesson to learn from this particular trade is that I simply shouldn't have put so many bets in without more confidence in that horse. And this is why on the BF Scalper course that I'm learning from, he teaches, you just do one trade at a time. So if it does go against you, there's only so much you're going to lose. This is the equivalent of trading at £50 stakes, but having 5 bets open at once. So at this point here, 1.5 minutes to go, and it's just hit my stop loss. So that means it automatically trades me out for a £4.87 loss.